Good afternoon!
Wow.
Hey! Happy Thursday, everybody. The sun is shining over the beautiful Rose City. Huh?
Maybe even on a dog's butt.
What do you mean? This is why people end up moving here. We just don't need to tell them about the other months of the
To
year.
be tricked by this?
Yeah.
It is always funny when somebody I know is out of town, is in town when it's like nice, and they're like, and it's non-summer months, and they're like, man, this is really nice. Like, be thankful you're leaving tomorrow.
See, our weather really isn't that bad.
No, but the extremes and how quickly it can come, you can
Isn't that
have
kind of
like
everywhere? Last week it was like, I was watching the Today Show today.
Oh.
Yeah. They had hard-hitting stories on conjoined twins that got separated. But
What?
Yeah, that's what they were talking about today.
Pocket that one for later.
I mean, they were infants and they were like facing each other and they just separate them now. Apparently they can do that a lot easier than
I thought you were talking about like not only like conjoined twins that were separated, but like separated.
No.
Like physically separated, like from
then-
each other, and then separated again.
No, not that at all.
And I was like, that seems maybe a step too far.
That'd be a hell of a double whammy right
that
there.
would be a
Right?
double whammy. Like you
separated squared.
But they went to Al Roker with here's what's going on in your neck of the woods. But before he did that, he does the national weather.
Did he talk about Denver?
Yes, he did. All there was a sunshine over the Northwest.
Yeah.
And it was like, all right, he didn't mention it. But do you have the Santa Ana winds coming in down in California? That got discussed. 12 to 24 inches over the next 24 hours in Denver was discussed.
They got, and it happened out of nowhere. Like they knew it was like something was coming, but it was full on blizzard.
It's the Rockies.
Yeah, but I mean it
Yeah, got him.
got them.
They
quick,
got
fast, and in a hurry. Like people had to take shelter in buildings, kind of a deal.
Yeah, see? So that's not unique to Portland.
Yeah.
But then I was looking at like severe thunderstorms for parts of the Midwest, and then they like zoom in on the map and it's like, no, that's the entire Midwest from like Chicago all the way down to St. Louis. Like it was like over to Indianapolis. It was just like, that's what I would consider the Midwest.
The
like
entirety
all
of
of Ohio and Iowa were in there too. Like it was, it's like, it's creeping over the East Coast, right?
Is Ohio Midwest?
That was, no, people don't consider it, but it
What is
technically is.
What I mean, what is it though?
It's
if
Midwest.
If it's not Midwest, then it's not
Midwest.
the East Coast. Like
Yeah, it's Midwest. It's Midwest.
Mid-Atlantic.
No, because there's no Atlantic there. Mid-Atlantic.
That's like calling Colorado the West Coast.
That's kind of what I'm like.
Yeah.
It's just not.
You're
It's
not
just the
wrong,
it's the
but
Midwest.
like what do they? But the Midwest doesn't claim it.
I didn't even need to take it back. It's not West at all. It's the Middle East. We'll call it the Middle East.
Yeah, why isn't the Mid?
Well, it's because that used to be West.
Yeah, I know, but
And then, we just kept on trucking.
turns out there was more West.
Yeah, they're like, God, this country's a lot bigger than we thought. But it's like thunder, lightning, dumping rain. Last week, it was like 75.
Yeah,
A couple days ago, it was like 75. So, like, we talk about our big changes in weather here. Everybody gets it.
yeah, but see, everybody
Everybody
else
gets it.
Everybody else is like, oh yeah, no, this does suck. But everybody thinks that it can be really, that it is really nice here,
Yeah.
and it's not.
Do people in Ohio call it the East Coast? Rufio in the YouTube chat. You can watch us, youtube.com/1080am The Fan. Do they call it the East Coast? I mean, they're in the Eastern time zone.
That's fair. That's probably more fair than the Midwest.
So's Detroit.
That's why. Yes, it is. Well, I mean, Michigan's its own. The murder mitten is its own little thing.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, they have lakes
that
that go out to
place
the
is,
ocean, so
like,
they're like, eh.
they're just on their own. They're just a.
I mean, when you
sad
ask them
people.
where in Michigan they're from, they point at their hand.
That's right. That's how that's how you do it. I dated a girl from Michigan, and she's like, "I'm from here," and she pointed at her thumb. I'm like, I don't know what that means. She's like, well, right here, if this is Michigan, I'm like, oh, does anybody point at their index finger? Because nobody lives on the Upper Peninsula.
UP, baby, Oopers, Alpena, Michigan.
I don't think anybody wants to live there. What do they do there? Why isn't that part of Wisconsin?
Yeah, maybe they need to.
Why
annex
isn't it
that.
part of Wisconsin?
They need to annex that.
That was a question.
Yeah,
I think it's attached to Wisconsin, though. Yes. Final answer.
is it?
Yep, it is. Sure. I don't know. But our weather's great here. We're going to hit 70 tomorrow. Great weekend. Great weekend weather here.
Yeah, for St. Patrick's Day.
You're a criminal, and you are you are a pro shorts guy. You're wearing pants today.
I am. I'm wearing the lightest of pants.
Yeah, but still wearing pants.
I
You're
am.
a fraud.
I
You're a
am.
fraud over here.
I walked outside this morning to put the pups out, and it was about 40, and I went, not quite.
Yeah, no,
Not
it's
quite.
not. It's still pants weather right now.
Tomorrow's
shorts weather.
100% shorts weather.
We're in. Jeff Rust over there. Hi, Jeff.
Hi.
Hey, we are 2 hours turn, and that's Jeff Rust. We are 2 hours turn and burn today. We've got
Holla at your boy.
Oregon Ducks basketball starting at 2:00 today, which means prime time with Isaac and Suk. They will start at around 5:00.
5-ish, give or take.
5-ish, maybe a little earlier,
Yeah.
maybe a little later. I don't know.
Somewhere around there.
They will be an abbreviated show, and this is one thing I know from those guys. That show will start at 5:30. You will get less than a half hour of sports if they pop by. If that game goes to OT and their show starts at 5:30, they're just going to have 20 minutes of sports talk, and then they're going to go into the club. So
Yeah.
I think that's the way they want it at this point.
I mean, they're probably going to spend a lot of time talking about DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah.
I'd imagine.
I don't think they will.
No? Okay.
I don't think they will. We will, though. We'll
Yeah.
give you DeAndre Ayton talk.
Indeed.
Yeah, we will give you that DeAndre Ayton talk. All right. Conference tournament week, controversial statement here. This is my second favorite weekend of college basketball. This weekend right here.
Nothing wrong with it.
This week.
I love
Conference
it.
championships.
Conference championships, you get some squirrely stuff happening.
Better than the Final Four.
Typically, the
And
Final Four sucks.
My power rankings are opening weekend of the tournament, where you get 64 down to 32.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yep.
like nothing.
That's chaos.
Yeah.
That's number one.
Yeah.
Nothing beats that
Yeah.
in all of sports.
Number two, conference championship weekend.
Because you get squirrely.
Number three.
You get UP upsetting Gonzaga.
Yeah. Number three is my regional final weekend, where you get your Sweet 16 in your Elite Eight.
That's where you usually get the best basketball of the tournament.
And then the Final Four, it can jump Sweet 16 or to Elite Eight, only if my bracket is still alive. That's the only time that it will jump Sweet 16 and Elite Eight.
I feel like we just had bad Final Fours for a while.
It's anticlimactic at that point, because usually most of the fun stories are gone. Occasionally we'll get a George Mason popping in there, and bracket busting into the Final Four. But usually it's we knew who was going to be there anyway. I think this year has the potential for Final Four weekend to be way up there.
Yeah.
But it's gonna get drunk.
If I can
in
find
college
somebody somewhere to give me odds on 8 seed or worse in the Final Four, I'm going to take them.
Oh, you can find those.
That's what I'm saying. I need to find those.
The great value is going to be before the brackets come out.
Yes.
Though. You got to get them before
this is Selection Sunday coming up.
Yeah, that would be Sunday.
Dun 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 dun.
Wah, wah, wah. But that's we got the ACC tournament on right now, and
Pac-12 tournament's underway as well.
Yeah. Is it on right now?
Almost.
No.
I don't. It has not quite tipped yet.
Yeah,
course,
they
because-
start soon.
Because a noon tip wouldn't actually be at noon.
But they got the ACC tournament
It's
going.
just like the NBA, 7:00 tip. Well, BS.
7:22 actually.
No,
It's very dumb.
baseball is the worst at this.
Soccer, the best.
Well, no, but like on
Noon
baseball,
kick?
like on the ESPN scoreboards and stuff, they'll say like 7:10.
7:10, yeah.
Yeah, and they're on it.
Look, man, you have
They'll get you at like 7:14. It depends on your first pitch, because the first pitch can get weird.
Yeah.
The pomp
true.
and circumstance over every baseball game where you get the national anthem and you get that
Fly over
ceremonial
and- yeah.
first pitch.
You get Carl Lewis out there throwing it. You have no idea where that ball went.
It takes 20 minutes just to find it.
Yeah.
50 cents out there, you're searching for that ball for a while. You can't have two balls on the field at once. So they got to find that.
Otherwise, you got many men wishing death upon you.
I'll tell you what, one of the worst first pitches I've ever seen was from a former Major League Baseball player.
Who's that?
I believe it was Doug Glanville. And I remember one time I went and I tried to find it on YouTube, and it's like it has been scrubbed from the internet.
Like LeBron getting dunked on in its camps.
yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. The top scrub from the internet in sports. Number one.
Number one is LeBron.
No.
No?
Number one is not LeBron. Number one is Rick Pitino's press conference after the Italian restaurant. You can't find that anywhere. You cannot find that anywhere.
Rick knows a guy.
Where he is explaining how long that whole ordeal went down, what went into it, and you're like, I can't believe he's laying out the whole timeline here. And then when he also blames 9/11 for it, which is That's a play.
It's up there.
That's a play.
Yeah.
You can't find that on the internet anymore. And then LeBron getting dunked on is my number 2, though.
Yeah.
Number 2 is LeBron. LeBron at his kids' camp.
At his camp, got absolutely banged on by a high schooler.
Yeah. What kid was that?
God, he ended up being an NBA player.
Did he?
Yes. God dang it. I can't remember now.
Delonte West. But that is one, too, where the whole
that was his
entire
mom that
gym
dunked
goes, oh, and LeBron looks shook.
Jordan Crawford.
That was Jordan
Yeah,
Crawford.
Jordan Crawford got him.
But LeBron looks absolutely shook in that video. And that one lived on the internet for what? 6 months? Can't find it. Cannot find it. And then
Every now and
apparently,
it pops back up.
yeah, apparently Doug Glanville's on there too
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, quick update. Googled it. First link that I hit.
Yeah.
It says there's video. There's no video. It's not.
You see.
This is from NBCPhiladelphia.com, and then there's a link in there that says, "Oh, these fine folks at this website also do it," and video not on it.
See. Can't find that.
Mm-mm.
That's going to be gone. That's going to be gone. That's all right. We need to find the other sports videos that can no longer be found.
We also have an update from the Vancouver Fort text line of why Michigan owns the top of Wisconsin.
Oh, we do?
And it says, why doesn't it belong to Wisconsin? Because we wanted it more.
Oh.
I would assume it's from a Michigander.
Well, and then they went to war with like Ohio too over Toledo, didn't they? Wasn't there like a war of Toledo?
I mean, it sounds like it.
And now it is part of Ohio. So I think they lost that war.
Oh.
But they won the one against
But they got that
Wisconsin?
they got the quaff of Wisconsin.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like it.
I watched a show.
Toledo's not a great city anyways.
It's not?
No.
Never been.
Look, not to go full squirrel here.
Yeah.
There was another link, NBCSports.com, which in that one says links to a CSNChicago.com video, which takes you to just a completely different article altogether about like some White Sox lineup in the year 2017. It's
Of course.
yeah. It's not there.
Doug Glanville has scrubbed it from the internet.
They got rid of it.
I like this conspiracy. It's cheeky and fun.
Yeah. So these guys get those videos scrubbed from the internet, yet we get people getting canceled left and right off of their tweets that they have in their past. I mean,
It's really impressive.
if you are getting drafted by any in any league,
Somebody should be diving through the history of your Twitter account, tweet by tweet.
nothing should exist on your Twitter account. Like you just don't even just get rid of all of it. Because why? What, like, there's nothing that good that will come of it, right? Even like the ones that are, like this is C.J. Gardner Johnson, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like he said it verbally though, and he hasn't got this scrub from the internet, but he hates the fans of Philly.
Yeah.
Guess where he just re-signed with? Philadelphia. He's back to being an Eagle.
Well,
And he's like, yeah, sorry about that, guys.
I still believe it.
But even if you get drafted, and like that was like the rallying cry for people in Detroit, they're like, yeah, he hates Philly people too now. You know, he's on our side. He's one of us. If you get drafted by, say, the Bears, and you have like a bunch of Packer hate on your Twitter feed, well, guess what? If you go and sign with Green Bay eventually, that tweet may get you some immediate like fan support. But then if you end up going and playing for Green Bay, it backfires on you. So just delete all of your Twitter. All the social media should just scrub them clean when you're getting drafted. That should be the process. I want to start that business. I think that we can make a lot of money off of that one. There's so many middlemen in the draft process right now across all sports. We could just be internet scrubbers. Just delete all internet. Deleting it all. Yeah, now you're talking.
yeah, no, now you got my brain spinning. It's like I could open up a blood cleanup and a Twitter cleanup
That's
service.
again,
Nope.
some things you should probably just keep to yourself.
Oh,
You
my-
know,
my
just
Just
bury that one.
Just
deep.
solvents in a bathtub.
Just bury it.
Wait, what?
Bury that back part down. You don't need to go there. The other part, good though. I think we can do this.
Well, we can acid wash bodies
No,
and Twitter accounts.
stop.
No?
Stop.
Okay.
Again, you're just gonna go to jail.
No.
You're just gonna go to jail.
Speaking of acids, I had a little sink backup, and I had to go with the full like, you better put on goggles and gloves stuff. And buddy, that stuff is wild.
Yeah, the drain
drain-
decloggers and
yeah,
stuff like
they-
that.
they like-
It's not
the
Drano
liquid
either.
well,
like-
there's liquid Drano, there's liquid
Well,
plumber.
No, this stuff is like comes in a bag and has like
Yeah, I'm sure this
double sealed.
sentence
Well, I
right
know-
here won't backfire you.
I
in
know
court.
you know what lye is.
It is lye. Yeah, it's lye.
Damn.
Yeah, and so it cooks everything in the pipes. It's a weird, nasty process.
Yeah.
I feel
Okay.
like you've got that coming to your place on a subscription service.
I may or may not buy in bulk.
I have Wikipedia for the Toledo War.
Mm.
They were fighting over the name of the war. Michigan-Ohio War or the Ohio-Michigan War. They just said, okay, we're fighting over who gets the first naming rights of this war. They just said, we got to meet in the middle here before we start our actual fighting, Toledo War. They had a fight over what to call their fight over Toledo, for God's sake.
And we wonder why Michigan, Ohio State's a problem.
1835 to 1836.
Oh wow, went on for a whole year, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, this could have been like a 2-month thing
December
that
to
just kind of
January.
dragged on here. But yeah, it's called the War of the Toledo Strip. Now you learned something here, huh? So I don't know if it's because one of them wanted it or neither of them wanted it.
That's probably it. That you know what Michigan probably
No,
says.
you
We
take it."
didn't want it. You take it.
Yeah, they called it the Toledo Strip, which also sounds like a terrible cut of meat. I'll have the Toledo Strip, please.
Certainly that.
Is that Ohio's knockoff Vegas?
All right.
Sounds like the kind of thing you need to put lye on.
Well, we're off and running. We will be here till 2 o'clock. I don't know how many more crimes Danny's going to admit to, but we're already off to about 5.
It's always circumstantial.
Where we start this bad boy off, though, is just trying to beat that ass. DA definitely did that last night. Danny Dusty on the Fan.
Dusty on the Fan.
They're just trying to beat that ass. That's right.
The most polite ass beating I've ever heard.
The Portland Trailblazers pick up a surprise win. Surprise!
Was it a surprise?
106-102 over the Atlanta Hawks. Yes, I think any win right now is a surprise win.
The Atlanta Hawks, they suck.
Not as hard as the Blazers.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
have
they're-
10 more wins than the Portland
Yeah, but
Trailblazers
they're-
are currently in the 10 spot of
They're
the
missing a lot of
East.
people.
Yeah, they are.
A lot.
Again, I'll go back to 19-46 is now the Blazers record.
Fine.
Yeah. You know, like every win, surprise win right now.
Fine.
17 games to play. Blazers are 10 away from hitting that over. Do they have a 10-7 finish to the season?
I think they maybe have one more win.
No. No.
Wizards.
They got the Wizards.
Yeah.
They also have the Hornets.
Yeah, but they need that one.
And
I mean, they need to lose that one.
they got the Wizard, so it'll be a lose-off.
Yeah.
See who wants it less.
Mm-hmm.
Either one of those teams. And then, they don't play Utah anymore. Oh, yeah, I think
No.
we got two, but they play their schedule is
Oh, it's a hellscape the rest of the way.
it's really difficult. Two
Yeah.
against the Pelicans remaining, and then the last one against the Kings.
That's probably gonna have seeding on the line.
Kings are going to want it.
Mhm.
They're going to want it. So the last game of the year, it's not even going to be one of those toss-up games.
No.
Maybe the Rockets game, if the Rockets are, they play them second to last game of the
They
year.
might go super young at that point because their pick is owed to the Thunder, top 8 protected.
See,
So they
got two. They're going to
might,
want to lose.
They might try to suck
right.
there to see if they can sneak in.
Well, last night was it was actually just a fun game to watch. If you close your eyes for the first quarter,
Yes, if you just slept through the first quarter, pretend that first quarter did not happen.
they scored 17 points in the
It
first quarter.
was a train wreck.
It was. I mean, it. I was just in awe.
Awkward, disjointed, sloppy, poor shooting. They had 6 turnovers and 8 made shots.
Not good, Bob.
Yeah,
Not good,
no free throws.
But they were still able to pull out a victory last night, and it was on the back of DeAndre Ayton was a man possessed last night. 33 points, 19 rebounds. DeAndre Ayton has been playing outstanding basketball for the Blazers lately.
Yeah, if you go over his last 15 games, I mean, he's been really good the last couple, but his last 15, 21, 14 on 63% shooting. And if you look at his shot chart, it is just a path they're just caved between the paint. It's from 4 feet to 18 feet. And you look at the advanced numbers on DeAndre Ayton, he is right now in the 99th percentile of mid-range shots taken.
That seems okay.
So, well, that's volume. Okay, so he's taking the most. Okay, he's also hitting. If you take it all of his mid range, he's 99th percentile in volume. He's 81st percentile in finishing. He's shooting 50% from mid range.
Yikes.
And if you look at his long mid range, he's shooting 53%, that's the 8 to basically 3-point line range, which he eats at those elbows. That's where he takes a ton of shots. He's not just good for a big. He's maybe the best mid-range shooting player in the NBA right now. It's a toss-up between him, Kevin Durant, and Nikola Jokic.
And just carving up the middle of the lane.
I mean, just absolutely. He was 15 of 20 last night, Dusty. on a
Seems okay.
diet of 12-footers.
All right, I'll read you the last 5 games for DeAndre Ayton. 33 and 19 on 75% shooting. 22 and 15 on 58% shooting. 30 and 19 on 56% shooting. 12 and 10 on 66% shooting. 26 and 19 on 69% shooting. Nice. That's his last 5 games.
DeAndre Ayton's last 10 games. 25, 16, 1.5 assists, 2 stocks.
And what he has been kind of pushing towards, and we're seeing kind of all of the faults that DeAndre Ayton had in Phoenix was, hey, when times are good, he is really good. when times are down, this is going to be the question. When he comes to Portland during a rebuild, how long can you keep him locked in? Credit to DeAndre Ayton, credit to Chauncey Billups. The dude has been locked in for most of the season, and at the back end, where this is where kind of everybody was like, okay, this is where DA is going to shut it down. It's been anything but that, and he kind of addressed why he is playing the way he is.
I feel like honestly, coming into these games, I'm trying to do everything. Not only do my requirements, my role for this team, but do a lot more. And that's where I'm at. I'm more, dominant. People like to laugh at it, but it's the truth.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think people?
I don't know. I just be trying to bust that ass.
You're putting up the numbers right now.
That's about it.
It's hard. You can't really.
Yeah, I don't know. I listen and I hear it and I love it. And, it's I thank these haters for it. Because it's making me approach this game in the right way and carry the PDX on my back all the way. So I thank them. I'm wearing the cape all the way.
Just trying to bust that ass.
I don't care where you or how you feel about DA. He has been objectively good for a couple months now. And he came back from the knee tendonitis, had 3 games where it was just rough, just couldn't really find anything. And then they figured it out. And he's just been humming along. Him and Anthony Simons are developing a pick and roll chemistry that you're going, last night they had this is like sacrilegious to say it. They had like a Dame LaMarcus night last night. It's 69 points, 27 rebounds, 9 assists between the two of them.
It's pretty incredible game.
And they shot the living hell out of the ball. Like the efficiency is through the roof. Like the Ants 5 of 13 from 3. They were 14 of 15 from the free throw line. I think they were 25 of 43 from the field.
And Ant had some incredible passes. Like the pass to Matisse Thybulle, the bounce pass, and I loved that Lamar made them go back and they got the baseline view of that on the broadcast.
I didn't see it, so.
Where he just whips that thing around, puts some English on the ball, and you saw it just take a right, and boom, right to Tease. He had some incredible, and that was one of probably 3 or 4 passes that you just went, oh, look at that.
The hit-ahead pass, he had the one-handed, right-handed cross-chest pass or one-handed whip pass to the left corner to, I think it was actually Tease in that corner too.
But that was it. That's why it was a surprising win. Like it was a solid performance by the Portland Trailblazers against the Atlanta Hawks, which are severely banged up. But DeJounte Murray was
that first half especially
insane.
I think he was 11 of 13.
Can we talk about Quinn Snyder for a minute?
Oh God,
he has gone from
full Joker
being the bad guy in Terminator 2, the cop, and just looking like the evil. The
slick back?
Yeah, slick back hair. Just looking mad at all times. To now he's like softened. He looks like a middle school science teacher that's trying to be cool and like connect with the kids with his red frame glasses.
Sally Jesse Raphael.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of like, hey, I'm hip, guys. I'm here
He
for
said
you.
Rick Barry gave him the glasses.
He looks...
Or John Barry.
So much less intimidating now, but still like with that science teacher, like... he could be a criminal.
Mastermind.
Overlord. Yeah,
yeah, no,
he still has that look to him, and I'm, God, he is a terrifying person.
So
he can coach some basketball.
Oh, he's a hell of a coach. I asked him pregame about what it's like in today's NBA to try to set an identity because he's in a new tenure with the coach in his first year coaching the Hawks, and there's a very strong possibility the Hawks are going to have a massive makeover this summer. I would put it at better than a coin toss that Trae Young gets traded.
Oh, yeah.
But Quinn is different than he was with the Utah Jazz. Where you're talking about, like, just constantly chewing on whatever, gum,
ass. Like, he just... well, that's what he'd do. He'd chew you out.
Yes.
Like, that's what he would do. He would jump down the throat of every single player. Like, even when you're like, that was a good play, it's like, he's not happy still.
Yeah, he's still not happy because he's a bit of a perfectionist. But he talked about the difference in player type and how you have to go about building things and the adversity. And he goes, you can't force identity. You have to find it and pull it out. I thought that was interesting. Even if you want to create, we want to be a hard-nosed defensive team. He goes, you can't force it. You can't put a sign on the wall. He goes, you've got to face the adversity and you've got to pull it out of guys.
Yeah.
And if they don't have it, you can't just make it happen. And I think some people would take that and be like, that's making an excuse. I think that was an admission that he has figured out through his career, because Quinn's a hell of a coach. He's one of the best tacticians in the league, offensively and defensively. But I think if you look at those Utah Jazz teams, and this kind of applies to the Blazers, they got tore apart in the playoffs, and it was, Rudy Gobert is getting played off the floor, where 1 through 4, they were probably pretty crappy defensively.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, well, Quinn can't coach and Rudy can't stay on the floor. And I think now you're seeing Quinn, this is again where it ties back to the Blazers, is he realizes that regardless of what he wants to do, it's about what you have and what you can do with that.
Okay, here's a text here on the Vancouver Ford text line, 503-864-6326. Your dollar goes further at Vancouver Ford. They treat you right before, during, and after the sale. Visit them online, vancouverford.com. There's layers to this text and the response that we'll get to coming up next, but I just want to get it out there. I want people to think about this, and you send your feedback in. Call me crazy, but it seems like the Blazers have a legit core building if DA can be this player. They have Grant and Ant with Kamara and Matisse. Are we as far off as we're thinking? Because DeAndre Ayton, he mentioned he had another soundbite that kind of goes to, all right, that line of thinking, but there's also several more layers. We'll get to that after Rust with SportsCenter.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a SportsCenter update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by Vulcan Design and Construction. Check out the award-winning outdoor living designs or schedule your free design consultation at vulcandc.com. First on The Fan, after a win over the Hawks last night, the Trailblazers close out their 6-game homestand tonight against the Knicks. 7 o'clock tip on Root Sports Plus. The Blazers are 10.5-point dogs. ESPN's Adam Schefter reporting Pro Bowl defensive end Joey Bosa has restructured his contract to stay with the Chargers. And NFL Network reporting the Falcons trading quarterback Desmond Ridder to the Cardinals for wide receiver Rondale Moore. Pac-12 men's basketball quarterfinals underway. USC and number 6 Arizona currently going at it. 8:17 left in the first half, and the Cats leading the Trojans 14-12. That's followed by Oregon and UCLA. Coverage right here on The Fan starts at 2 o'clock following Danny and Dusty. Tip it around 2:30, also on the Pac-12 Network. Then you've got Stanford and number 22 Washington State at 6 o'clock with Utah and Colorado in the nightcap. That's 8:30 on FS1. First round of the Players' Championship from the stadium course at TPC Sawgrass. And at the top of the leaderboard, Xander Schauffele, Rory McIlroy, both in the clubhouse after rounds of 7 under 65. They are one stroke clear of Nick Taylor at 6 under par. Among those 2 strokes off the pace are Jason Day, and you've got Adam Scott, Justin Rose, Scotty Scheffler, Wyndham Clark, Tony Finau. They are all tied for 22nd at 2 under par. Seamus Power, Will Zalatoris are even par. Ricky Fowler, Colin Morikawa tied for 93rd at 1 over, and Jordan Spieth shot a 2 over 74. That leaves him tied for 113th. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The inside story on the Blazers, Ducks, and Beavers. Danny and Dusty. Weekdays noon to 3 on the Odyssey app and 1080 The Fan.
says on the Vancouver Ford text line, call me crazy, but it seems like these Blazers have a legit core building. If DA can be this player, they have Grant and Ant with Kamara and Matisse. Are we as far off as we're thinking?
Yes.
A lot of layers to this. Do I
think DA can be a core player? Yes. I saw him anchor a team in the NBA Finals and anchor their defense on their way there.
Yeah.
People can say what they want to about DA, about wanting more, and his motor runs cold a little every now and then. They can all be true. But the flip side of that coin is he also can be the guy that anchors your defense to the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
Remind me again how many guys the Blazers have had at that position over the last 20 years that could do that.
20 years?
Yeah. No. I mean, Greg is literally the only other one.
All 82 games of his career in Portland.
But as far as potential, he's the only one.
Yeah.
Maybe Nurk before he broke his leg.
And
maybe
there's so many variables to all of this, and I think one of them is we've still not seen the group that they are building as this core to playing together.
Sure,
and that takes a long time. Mm-hmm. And DeAndre Ayton kind of talked about that with how Anthony Simons pertains to this conversation.
Right now, it's pretty lit. I ain't gonna lie, I wish he was there. It's pretty lit right now. We watch film together and we talk 2-punch talks and stuff. We wanted, he's number one and I'm number two. So that's kind of fire right there. We wasn't even trying. But back to the topic. But yeah, just, in the pick and roll, just, feeling him out. I've been playing against Ant for quite some time since we've been in the league, and I know his game a lot. But, also playing with D-Book back in Phoenix. I'm similar to his style of play, setting screens and knowing what he wants. Sometimes he want to be off the ball. Sometimes he want to be on the ball, being a ball dominant. I'm just reading him, whether he wants me in the pocket or not. And everything's flowing, We have this little language going on with our body language, eye contact and things like that, where we know how the defense, what the defense is giving us, and it's like music. It's just, it's just good chemistry going on. It's just making good music.
Jazz snapping.
I know what he wants.
What do you think of that?
Okay, so the chemistry and the continuity with Ant, it's taken a really long time to get to this point, right?
Right now, it's pretty lit.
It is pretty lit.
It's taken a long time in the season, but when you actually look at the time on the floor that they've spent together, it hasn't been that long.
But this is where I think they are still so far away.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the one thing that we want to see from Anthony Simons is consistency. We have not seen consistent play from Anthony Simons where it's always 2 steps forward, 1 step back, right? 2 step forwards, 1 step back. There's always something that goes wrong, whether it's injuries to him, injuries to people that he's playing with. It is ups, downs, ins and outs. And then just at the beginning, there was erratic play, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the stretches of play that were really good. And then you're like, what happened in another long stretch where it's head scratching at times? In order for a team to be good, your number one has got to be consistent, and it's got to be level. And that's something that how many years are we in with Anthony Simons now? This is year 6? Yeah. Year 6, and we're still waiting for that consistency. But this is also year 1 of him being the guy on this team.
Because he's still 24.
And so there's just so many variables to, all right, Tumani Kamara, that play off the rebound to seal the game last night.
Heady play.
You cannot understate that enough. That is a rookie.
Yeah, that's a winning play.
That was and he comes up with those plays. Tease comes up with the block on the three. You're like, where the hell? He came out of nowhere for that. Those guys are solid role players.
Yep.
But they need more star power.
They need the foundational pieces, and
they're still a long ways away.
They are. Here's something crazy for you. The number one lineup with the most possessions between Ant and DA has 176 possessions across the entirety of the season. And that lineup is Ant, Brog, Jabari, Jeremy, Ayton. That's 176 possessions is nothing.
No.
It's absolutely, unequivocally nothing. You take a look at the number one lineup in the league in possessions. Okay, it's 176. I believe the Nuggets are still number one. Yeah, the Nuggets are their most used lineup is the most used lineup in the NBA. 1,633, almost 10 times the amount of possessions over the course of the season.
That's a lot.
That's insane.
That's a lot.
That's insane.
And this is where the Blazers are. We entered the season saying this roster is incomplete still. It was in a better place where they can have their moving parts. And you look, Cronin, they're not done making moves, and there's going to be a long way to go. And look, the lottery balls are going to have to go their way this year, especially because they have 2 first-round picks in a draft that is not very deep.
Mm-hmm.
And so they need to be very high in this draft order to get the guy that is going to truly be a foundational piece for this team. What the Blazers need is they need another 4.
Mm-hmm.
They need to, and can you do that by unloading Malcolm Brogdon?
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean unloading Anthony Simons even?
Mm-hmm.
And then
they need a true 3-4 wing creator. That's the thing they need the most.
And an incredible leap from Scoot Henderson over the next year.
And or Shaden.
And Shaden Sharp. We forget about Shaden Sharp because he's hurt.
Nobody forgets.
This is they are a long way off.
There.
But I think that you do see the direction, and this was the whole thing we were talking about at the beginning of the year, and we haven't really been able to see it at all, is you can see the direction that Cronin is trying to go in building
stronger,
the roster.
Longer, more
and
athletic.
I like it. Again, this team, as a team in their collective, they're just not a competitive for even the play-in roster as they stand right now.
If they're entirely healthy and they understand each other, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe, and even then, I still think they're more like the Rockets.
All right, we got a lot of texts coming in on this. We'll get to yours. Good, bad, and ugly. 503-864-6326. Danny and Dusty on the Fan.
Hello, sports fans, and welcome.
All right, we're talking about the Blazers and just 17 games left in this season that we knew was going to go sideways, and it has gone sideways. How far off are they?
They need to get busy this summer. They need to make a substantial move to reinforce the roster.
They need to get busy 8 summers ago.
Yeah, I know, but I chuckled because that's what we've been saying for years now. It feels like there is pressure for Joe Cronin to actually do that, though.
Yeah, I do. I feel like there is a not a foot on the throat kind of a deal, but I feel like there is some motivation certainly to not push all your chips in, but to make a pretty substantial move. I was talking to a general manager the other day that said that when the Blazers didn't make a move at the deadline, it felt very much like they were keeping all their powder dry for this summer because everybody expects draft night to be super busy. And not just for the Blazers, but across the NBA, because this is the last time, because of the new CBA, you can make moves. If you're a team that's above the second apron, meaning you're spending a crap ton of money, if you're above the second apron, you're going to have your draft pick frozen, which means you can't move it. So this is the last time you can make those kind of moves and shifts and tweaks and all those kind of things. So if somebody's going to make a move for Robert Williams III or Jeremy Grant or Malcolm Brogdon or Anthony Simons, any of those guys, if somebody's going to make a move, it's going to be this summer.
Which is also why everybody is calling this like the last run for the Golden State Warriors, because guess who has their pick this year?
Ding, 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 ding.
The Portland Trail Blazers.
So, yeah, they're not going to be able to restock or to make moves without that stuff.
All right, text coming in. DA's the only piece they have that I like. He's the only one that isn't undersized. LOL. Well, I mean, Shaden Sharp's not undersized.
I'd argue the vast majority of the team is.
Jeremy Grant is not undersized.
JG's 6'9", 6'7". Jabari Walker's an undersized center, I guess.
Scoot is short. Ant is.
Well, no, Ant's big for a point.
Yeah, for a point.
Shea is average.
Shea is average. He's
at the
what,
6'4.5", 6'5".
Yeah, listed at 6'6".
He's not 6'6". He will tell you he's not 6'6".
Yeah, but I mean,
but yeah, no, they're not like the team now is not small.
They're not what
big.
they used to be.
No, they're big everywhere except for Scoot.
Okay. All right, so we got that one. This one says, I think people need to relax. We have a solid coach, GM, and an owner that is in no rush to sell, 10-plus years. Physical specimens like Ayton don't grow on trees. Nurkic, who I've always said he is 11-11 in Phoenix, is shooting 53%. Solid starting NBA center. I wouldn't have traded Dame, but with the new young core, they absolutely have a bright future. How do you feel about that?
I think that they're in a spot where they have a chance to do something. And that's all I've ever wanted.
And this is where,
from this organization, was to pick a bleeping path. And again, we talked about this last year before they traded Dame in the summer. I wanted them to build around Dame.
Yeah.
For everyone's like, all you do is talk and we carry Joe Cronin to the Trailblazers water. I didn't want this path. To be clear. But since they made it, I'm going, okay.
At least they made it.
You made the decision. Now let's see which way this goes.
Yeah. P1 Rich in Troutdale, he says, at least the Blazers have been able to find new guys who can play, complementary players. And that is something they've
done well in the role player front. Yes.
Tease, those guys are
Jabari.
Complementary players that
Chris, they're all solid role players.
They are very, very good. But I think that if you're looking at a future, I mean, it really is. It's like the guys that you want, and every great team has them. Mm-hmm. The great guys like Tease and Kamara. I love those guys.
Yeah.
They are so damn fun to watch.
I know a lot of teams that would like to have those guys. Hell, remember Matisse Thybulle was brought back on a restricted free agency deal that they matched to the Dallas Mavericks.
And that is something that, all right, they need to get that front heavy talent though, because you can't win in the NBA with just with the two great role players, and that they have the opportunity to be two great role players. Yep. But that's not where you win, and that's where they need to get exponentially better.
They need luck with anything. And that's what everybody tends to forget, is that the Celtics get Tatum and Brown because you've got a desperate Nets team.
Yeah. And
you're able to capitalize. Because and a 76ers team that wanted Markelle Fultz. So you trade back and you're like, we wanted Tatum anyways, so we don't care.
Yep. Here's another text says, if Jeremy Grant's one of your starters and best players, you have major problems. Blazers will show fans they're serious about winning if they unload $150 million plus problem at forward.
That's
dude's been playing hurt
that's
and playing very
bluntly
well.
a brain dead take. He's not a $150 million problem. It's Jeremy Grant's a good player.
He's a good player.
Very good player who I can't think of a team in the league who's like, I don't want Jeremy Grant. Understanding pay scale, I was $150 million. He's an average pay rate for an above average forward.
All right, and then one more from a Pistons fan. Blazer, I believe, has the core going forward, but as a Piston fans, please settle with patience. Pistons have 3 guys that we believe can be all-stars or better, Ivy, Cunningham, Duran, but they still suck. And Cade is going to be the star in his year 3 compared to Scoot year 1. If Scoot's going to be your star leader, strap in for a while. It took Halliburton to year 5, Halliburton to year 4, SGA to year 5 before their teams were competitive. That's the thing. It's going to take time. But they need to make a big move this offseason.
No, they do.
They've got to make a big. You unequivocally have to do it.
They need to shape it up to make sense. But also, no shots to the Detroit fan, but it's going to be a shot. Your organization sucks, and it has for 20 years.
Okay.
So that part of it has been, so making organizationally terrible decisions for 2 decades lends more credence to it taking a little bit longer on those scales, but I still, and I've said this from the jump, it's going to take at least 3 years.
Okay, but I mean, for being honest, the Blazers haven't been well run.
Last 5 years, no.
I mean, it's like we have to point at that, and like that's very. It's not like Portland is superior in any way because the best player in the franchise's history demanded a trade. You know,
and that's. As I'm saying, organizationally, Pistons have just made move after move after move at the general manager spot where you're just like, what is happening here?
Yeah,
like they failed to take a path. Where at least again with the Blazers, and this isn't like saying that they're on that it's going to be successful.
Yeah,
please do not take it as that. This can still very easily fail miserably, but they have made a move and they have taken a path.
And I for one, I appreciate that they have that path in a direction that makes sense too.
It's all I've ever wanted from the organization. Any organization that I cover, don't waffle.
Just
pick
go.
a path and go. If you crater, you crater. Of course, it's easy for me to say because my job's not on the line. Because not making a change is the easiest way to protect your job.
But it's also the way that you get stuck mired in mediocrity, which is what they were.
Which the NBA will allow you to do.
Absolutely.
The NFL will not allow you to do that.
All right, let's talk about the NFL, shall we? Because we have got illegal legal tampering. We've got more contracts being reworked. And what happens when you call him a little man and now he's your quarterback? Danny and Dusty on the Fan. 2, the final hour of Danny and Dusty today. Look at that. Oregon Ducks basketball tipping off soon. Right now, you got at the half Arizona leading USC 28-16. They're warming up Vegas for the Duckies. Who will take over Joey Mack live from Vegas right after us, coming up at 2 o'clock. A lot of movement in the NFL, folks, coming up. As we went to break last segment, Adam Schefter reported the Seahawks have traded for a quarterback. It's not going to be one that's going to blow your hair back, but again, another solid backup, a guy with starting experience. The Seahawks have traded with the Washington Commanders. They have sent a 3rd and 5th round pick in this year's draft for Sam Howell, a 4th round pick, and a 6th round selection in this year's draft. So Sam Howell will be the backup to Geno Smith in what will be dubbed to all of us as a competition.
Certainly. I think more importantly, this is the Commanders who now don't have a quarterback saying, we're taking a quarterback.
If you didn't know already, now you know.
Now you know. Don't call us to trade back.
Here they come. Also, some confusion in the last hour or so. Diana Rossini of The Athletic had reported that Eric Armstead, former Oregon Duck and San Francisco 49er, would be heading to the Buffalo Bills. She has pulled the, my bad. Eric Armstead will be signing with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh.
Meow. How you feel about the move, Jeff Rust?
I like that.
Yeah, Josh Allen,
Yeah.
Trayvon Walker, Eric Armstead,
It's
nice
a
little front.
Nice little front you got going there.
Nice little front for our buddy Jeff Rust, who's a noted, massive Jacksonville Jaguars fan.
Jaguars.
Jaguars. So we got that going on in the NFL.
So we've had 2 take-backs deals.
Oh, the counties, no counties?
The counties, no counties, yeah. With was it Kendricks who flipped from the
Yeah.
Niners to the Cowboys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
It was a
these happen.
reported done deal. And then they found some extra money under the couch cushions.
Well, that's what you get.
Hmm.
Oh, I can't play my drops.
Oh.
I can't play my drops right now.
Oh yeah, Joey's over here doing some stuff behind the scenes,
Oh,
kind of
okay.
like resetting the server and such.
So we got no drops at all? No audio?
Probably not for a couple, or well,
No? 4 minutes or so. We
Okay.
got- okay, well there goes our fun with audio that we had planned.
apologies.
No, business has to be done.
No, blame Joey.
It's
Joey, how
commerce.
dare you?
No, I will never.
Joey's over here working his ass off to
Yeah,
make sure we stay on the air.
He's
I
going.
know.
He's going to put you in a chokehold,
I
Meringue. But we do have funny business that is being reported now. We have the NFL is now reviewing illegal tampering during the legal tampering period.
Illegal tampering.
The Atlanta Falcons and Philadelphia Eagles are under the eye of Roger Goodell in the National Football League over how quickly they were able to negotiate long-term deals with Kirk Cousins to Atlanta and Saquon Barkley to Philadelphia, because it was like right when the legal tampering period started, it was like, oh, wow, Kirk Cousins is going to Atlanta. And by the way, we heard about it a week before that too, that Kirk Cousins was looking at houses in Atlanta. And then also, like the day after that Pro Football Talk report surfaced of Kirk Cousins searching the house market of Atlanta a week before legal tampering, it was, hey, don't be surprised if Saquon Barkley ends up in Philly. That's where both those guys ended up.
I would just say, somebody in this building may or may not have mentioned that, hey, Derrick Henry bought a house in Dallas, and it's a done deal. He's going to be a Dallas Cowboy.
See?
He did not sign with Dallas.
No, he just wants to live in the Big D when he's in the off
I mean,
season.
it's Texas. It's a great place.
He's from Alabama, though, right?
Yeah.
I think he's
from
from Alabama.
he's from down around.
So, if the NFL finds funny business here, what happens to the Falcons and the Eagles? Well, you could see a fine or potentially forfeiture of draft picks. I'm going to tell you this right now.
Do you know how dumb you have to be suspected of tampering? You have to be so egregious that it's like, guys, come on.
After watching the quarterbacks doc on Netflix, Falcons might be in trouble.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins is not going to lie.
Yeah.
If he gets sent to the principal's office he's spilling his guts. He's going to be like, I didn't know. And they're going to be like, well, yeah, but they knew. I have a feeling if one of these is going to get
Kirk's going to have to disappear for a couple of weeks.
It's Kirk Cousins because he's just so nice.
Yeah.
You know, he's just going to be like, well, I didn't know.
Well, Kirk's due to come into the league to talk. Yeah, no, he can't talk right now.
Or we are going to find out that Kirk Cousins is about that life. Like, not only is he swindling teams for millions upon millions upon millions of dollars in one playoff win in his career, he's also like, it's all a facade. And he's really the dark soul Danny Meringue, but in a Cole's dad. Like, he just puts off the Cole's dad vibe.
Yeah.
And we're going to find out, like, Kirk's into that shady business there. But we have those big stories coming out of the NFL right now. Look, I think the biggest one, Eric Armstead going to the Jags after what was a regression year last year, and they just got pillaged by injuries. Look, that's a perfect landing spot for Eric Armstead.
Yeah.
The Jags bolstering their front, especially now that you know the Houston Texans, C.J. Stroud have figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
The Indianapolis Colts, if they can keep Anthony Richardson healthy.
Upright, they re-signed Pittman.
And they had their flashes last year where you're like, oh, you know, Shane Steichen might have this thing figured out.
Fun little team.
Tennessee Titans
they're Dormatty.
They are an enigma right now.
They're the reset.
But they haven't. They've like pushed in and they've signed some guys in free agency and you're like, where are we going here?
They went and spent money on a wide receiver. They said, hey, Calvin.
Calvin Ridley, you get Tony Pollard. Like they're just going, I just don't know about
They saw what happened
Tommy
to Bryce
Callahan.
Young, and they went, all right, we're not going to be that mean to Will Levis.
Yeah. Well,
We'll
and
go
then
get you something shiny.
Well, how about like the Carolina Panthers yesterday? We talked about this briefly, but going and getting Deontay Johnson, it's finally like a move that goes, hey, you might care a tiny bit about your quarterback in Bryce Young. They got him somebody to throw the football to. Now you just have to
number 3,
protect him. Deontay Johnson. He's a good receiver. He's a good receiver. He's not a 3. I think he's a 2.
He's 2? Okay.
Yeah. But Deontay Johnson's good.
Sure. Just does not get in the end zone ever.
Just
catches everything, does not get in the end zone.
Have zero faith that when all the attention is on him, he's going to be that guy.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, on a good team, he's your 3.
No, I think he can be a 2. I think he can be a 2 on a good team. I think he's a 2.
Okay,
I think he is a 2 on a good team.
Okay,
I just said he's their number 1, and it's not even close.
Again, great hands, catches everything. He went 19 games without a touchdown with the Steelers.
Yeah,
it was insane.
But again,
Matt Canada, Steelers. Yeah,
Steelers offense.
Okay,
Steelers offense.
Steelers offense, as bad as that was, still better than Panthers offense.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Another 19 games before Deontay
now they got
in the end zone.
They got Dave Canales now. Everything's gonna be fixed now.
Sure.
That is the biggest wild card of the hiring cycle. Dave Canales, former Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive coordinator.
Baker Mayfield guru.
We also have another rework by the Chargers. We told you yesterday the release of
there had
Mike
to be
Williams,
something here.
The Khalil Mack restructure of his contract. Now you have Joey Bosa restructuring his contract to open up a little bit more money. He has 2 years left on his mega extension that he got, which was initially a 5-year, $135 million deal. They've now reworked that one because look, Bosa, as good as he is, he's never on the field.
No, the injuries pile up.
14 games over 2 seasons.
Yeah, and if you looked at Khalil Mack, they're like, oh, Khalil Mack restructured his deal, and they're like, oh, that's great, before the 1 p.m. deadline yesterday. But Khalil Mack only had a year left, so it's like, okay, so where are they getting the rest of the money from? And it turns out that they restructured Bosa's deal. And so what's interesting is they had to have those finalized by 1 o'clock yesterday, and we're just now kind of finding out that those deals have been restructured, yet we don't know what the restructures look like just yet.
Well, yeah, the Bosa one we're not sure, but the Khalil Mack one opened up at least 15 for them,
which
to get under.
That means they had to agree to an extension somewhere because he's in the last year of his deal?
No, he's got 2 left. He's got Mack is in the last year of his deal.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mack, not Bosa.
Mack,
yeah,
Bosa's got 2. Mack has got 1.
If they created $15 million in space with Mack, unless they converted it all to incentives.
Look, time is a flat circle with the NFL salary cap. I don't know how any of this works, but they did come to an agreement with Hayden Hurst, another tight end. Look, Jim Harbaugh is just going to be collecting former Baltimore Ravens and tight ends like they're Infinity Stones. I think that's the second former Baltimore Raven they brought in. Their GM, Horitz, who came from Baltimore. Obviously, Jim's connection with his brother John being the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. You will just have West Coast Baltimore Ravens football, and it's going to be the LA Chargers. I don't hate it, man. You lose Gerald Everett, you're bringing in Hurst. I think they're probably going to draft another tight end or 8 with their 7 draft picks that they have. Do the math on that. It works. It's Jim Harbaugh. The Chargers are going to be the team that I am going to be most confused about heading into the season on where they go as far as you have these high-priced talents. You're probably going to pick up at 5. You're probably going to pick up either receiver 2 off the board.
Mm-hmm.
But Jim Harbaugh is also one of those guys where if he goes offensive line, are you going to be surprised?
No, I mean, look, if Joe Alt's there, who after his combine stuff measured in at
Freak.
like 6'8", 330 pounds and ran a 5'2", 40.
Not bad. I heard that's not bad.
Yeah, I mean,
is that bad?
It moves like a dancing bear. Like if they went that direction, you've now got Alt and Slater to keep your now super paid quarterback upright. I don't think that would be something that you'd scoff at, would you?
No.
If you've got Slater and Alt as your tackles,
let's go.
I feel like that's probably a pretty good way to build.
I feel like you're going to be okay right there.
Yeah.
And Jim Harbaugh, his team is going to be gritty as hell.
Yeah. And if you have those two not only protecting but also as part of your zone running scheme, they're both absolute maulers.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's probably a good idea.
All right, fun with audio coming up next. Danny and Dusty on the Fan.
It's back by popular
Cousins is new quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons because they did that whole illegal tampering thing. Remember that?
Indeed.
Indeed they did. Well, you know what number Kirk Cousins wears?
8.
He's the Ocho.
Mm-hmm.
You know who wears number 8 for the Atlanta Falcons?
Drake London or Kyle Pitts?
Kyle Pitts.
Pitts.
Yeah. One of two. We know how this goes, where in the world of professional sports, if you have a guy who has your number, you got to pony up that cash if you want to get in on there. Well, here's how it went down with Kirk and old Kyle Pitts. And boy, is this a shot at his former quarterback and his former coach.
He was funny about it. I said, I'll write a check, whatever, foundation. I'm not going to let you just give me the number. I want to make it worth your while, make a donation, whatever it needs to be. And he said, I just want, targets every game. He said, he was joking, he kind of winked. So I joked with him. I said, good answer.
I just want targets every game.
Please, for the love of God, just throw me the ball. I'm begging.
I just want targets. Like, hey, Arthur Smith and Desmond Ritter. By the way, all I want is for the ball to be thrown to me. You can have this number for free. Kirk, take the number. Just give me the damn ball. And Kirk Cousins with I'll donate to a charity. Yeah, because you've made $400 million over your
all
career.
Of the monies.
You have got plenty of cash to be thrown around there. I love that.
It is great. It's look, it's Kirkers being Kirkers.
Yeah,
it's not really a shock.
He gave me a wink.
Yeah, I just think, all right.
Golly gee.
Something we just talked about a minute ago, the Sam Howell deal. Per Spotrac, the Commanders have made 14 signings in free agency. 14.
Well, they had like
all
$100
that
million.
But also, they now have 6 of the top 100 picks.
Yeah, that is a big one.
That's a pretty substantial draft setup. I mean, you can, much like the Seahawks did 2 years ago, you can reset relatively well. This is why I always talk about the management of capital. If you draft well here, God, it will be hilarious if the Bears pass on Caleb. They're not going to, but if they did, and all of a sudden that not only do the Panthers not get C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young, but neither do the Bears, or not Bryce Young, but C.J. Stroud or Caleb Williams, but the Bears also miss out on it too. They're not going to be that dumb, right?
I don't know, but there's also no guarantee that Caleb Williams is, the best quarterback in the world.
No. I'm just saying as far as drafting for talent.
Yeah. I don't think they will. Bears, I don't think they're going to go there. But you have to remember, though, Adam Peters, if you're a Commanders fan, what gives you a little bit of hope is that the GM that they hired comes from the San Francisco 49ers, where they have knocked it out of the park, especially in those top 100 picks.
And the 49ers, we talked about coaching tree, the 49ers front office tree, remember, Balky's the one in Jacksonville. He's the one who drafted Eric Armstead back in 2015, 16?
2015, I think. Yeah, 9 years.
So, he's the one who drafted Eric Armstead to the 49ers, and that's why with the Jags, it makes sense.
Yeah, Balky, not a well-liked person in San Francisco, though.
Not well-liked, but...
John Lynch, far more praise.
Yes, but Balky also helped build some really good teams.
Yeah, he did, and he got into the measuring contest with Jim Harbaugh.
Indeed.
And they both lost.
Yep. Interesting.
Yeah, that was
America.
That's an interesting move. Commanders have an opportunity to turn it around.
Set a good foundation.
But I'll believe it when I see it.
It's the Commanders.
And you have a defensive-minded head coach where Bobby Wagner, we talked about it yesterday. That's a good signing, having Bobby Wagner in the middle of your defense.
Brought in some veterans. Frankie Louvu.
Old.
Yeah.
He's old, but he led the NFL in tackles, thrives in that system that Dan Quinn will run there, and he's going to get everybody else on the same page, which I think is the biggest thing year one with the new system that you're implementing, and so many new moving parts that they're going to have to put in.
Somebody that understands the language and the scheme.
Yeah.
It's especially the guy who's going to be your green dot.
100%.
It's a nice little... All right, let's go ahead and speed up the acclimation process.
Let's check in with your new quarterback, Gardner Minshew. A great piece of audio emerged right when he was signed of the Colts and the Raiders playing against each other and what Max Crosby had to say to Gardner Minshew.
Have you had the little ass boy conversation with Max yet?
He keeps calling everybody little ass boy.
Little ass boy?
Hey, little ass boy.
Little ass boy?
Yeah, sure enough. Saw him. He's a big ass boy is what he is. Yeah, dang. But nah, man, it was awesome. You know, those are guys, you know, not as much fun to play against, but if they're on your team, absolutely love it, man. Excited to be with him.
We need more Gardner Minshew drops because
Nah, it was brutal, dude.
we got that one from his days in Jacksonville, and now we have
Yeah, dang.
he's a big ass boy.
Well, Max Crosby, the combine was 6'5", 260 pounds.
He is
That's
a
a-
big ass boy.
Big old dude. Max Crosby plays with a chip on his shoulder, and he did chase Gardner Minshew around the field and beat the hell out of him and kept calling him little ass boy.
Yeah.
And remember, he did the same thing to Patrick Mahomes. Like
And-
it's but I think Minshew. The thing that is going to make Gardner endearing to Raiders fans is he gets it. He gets the crazy, and he's got a little bit of to himself.
Yeah.
And
Well, this goes back to Antonio Pierce, who said, like, not everybody can coach for the Raiders, not everybody can play for the Raiders.
No.
Gardner Minshew has that, like, Kenny
a
the Snake
pirate.
Stabler, that he is, like,
he played for Leach.
he's a weirdo. He's a weirdo.
He knows what the pirate weirdo is.
And I can't wait to see his super jacked dad in the stands and decked out in Raider gear.
You think he's putting on spiked pads?
And this is an ode to, yes, he's going to go hawk an animal.
Yeah.
This is like an ode to Mike Leach, who was the pirate himself.
Mm-hmm.
And now he gets to go and play for the Las Vegas Raiders.
For the old buckos. You love to see it.
Just call it, like, that's humiliating to call somebody just a little ass boy all day long. And like, he's just, the audio is from Gardner Minshew on the bench going, he's just running around calling everybody little ass boy.
Yeah, dang.
What do we do? What can I say back to him? I can't say anything back. He's massive.
Because he's huge. He's a lunatic. Love it. Absolutely love it.
And now Max Crosby can, like,
Go find another little ass boy.
well, no, he can pick Gardner Minshew up when he's hammered on Fremont Street because Max Crosby doesn't live that life anymore.
It's true.
You know, and I think Gardner Minshew
Probably
is
does.
about that life.
Yeah. I mean, a van, jorts.
Hey, bro, can you take me back to the RV park where I live?
That would be awesome.
Gardner Minshew lives in an RV in the off season.
Just rents a spot.
Do you have an address? No, dude.
I don't need mail.
Carrier pigeons, bro. That's how I operate. Got to stay off the grid.
Yeah.
Gardner Minshew's there's gonna be a video of him training outside of Area 51. Mark it. We've got like the off season just getting underway.
They're doing experiments on Gardner Minshew at Area 51.
Damn right. He's
That's-
gonna be out there just
that's
slinging
just-
passes
yeah.
at the electric fence, just like dotted that boy up.
Aliens trying to figure him out.
Yeah, I'm here for all of Gardner Minshew in the desert.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Dropping bombs off of Hoover Dam, just like throwing the ball as far as he can at the top of Hoover Dam.
Want to see if I can throw this ball over this their mountain?
I bet you I can do it, dude.
Well, you throw it off a dam, you might be able to.
There's a whole other stream of income for Gardner Minshew here.
Again, we need to get our cut.
And I will scrub his socials.
Yep. See.
Actually, his is one.
And let me tell you, it's so much it's so much easier to hide bodies in the desert.
Oh God, why?
Just
All right.
Unless you're the G League player.
Oh goodness, yeah. What happened with that?
That's
He's
the
like going to prison.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. No, they're going to federal prison.
All right,
Yeah,
good.
yeah, that's bad. Speaking of bad, but not nearly as bad. Odes to athletes. Can we stay away from statues, bronzings, all those kind of things because they're getting not problematic, but they're just bad. We'll get to that and more coming up here on Danny and Dusty. First, here's the Big Kahuna Sports Center update.
That's that Hawaiian burger joint.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by A&E Plumbing, Heating, and Air, serving Portland, Southwest Washington, and the Gorge. Online at aneheatingandcooling.com. It's hard to stop a train. First on The Fan, after a win over the Hawks last night, the Trailblazers close out their 6-game homestand tonight against the Knicks of New York. 7 o'clock tip on Root Sports Plus. Jeremy Grant, Malcolm Brogdon, Jabari Walker, Shaden Sharp, all out. Anthony Simons is questionable. The Blazers are 11.5-point underdogs. ESPN's Adam Schefter reporting the Commanders trading quarterback Sam Howell, a 4th-round pick and a 6th-rounder to the Seahawks in exchange for for third and fifth round picks. Schefter also reporting Pro Bowl defensive end Joey Bosa restructured his deal to stay with the Chargers. NFL Network reporting the Lions signing veteran defensive tackle DJ Reader to a 2-year deal. And NFL Network also reporting the Falcons trading quarterback Desmond Ridder to the Cardinals for wide receiver Rondale Moore. Pac-12 men's basketball quarterfinals are underway. USC and number 6 Arizona approaching midway through the second half, and Arizona leading SC 41-24. This game will be followed by Oregon at UCLA. Coverage right here on The Fan starts at the top of the hour. Tip around at 2:30, also on the Pac-12 network. Then Stanford and number 22 Washington State at 6 o'clock with Utah and Colorado in the nightcap, 8:30 on FS1. And it's the first round of the Players' Championship from the Stadium course at TPC Sawgrass. Xander Schauffele and Rory McIlroy both in the clubhouse after rounds of 7 under 65. They're one stroke clear of Nick Taylor at 6 under. Among those at 5 under are Jason Day. Former Oregon Duck Wyndham Clark is tied for 13th at 3 under par. Adam Scott, Justin Rose, Scotty Scheffler, Tony Finau all tied for 24th at 2 under. Seamus Power 1 under par. Ricky Fowler, Colin Morikawa tied for 93rd at 1 over, and Jordan Spieth and Will Zalatoris tied for 113th at 2 over par. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Fan Madness, presented by George McCoy at Warren Allen Attorneys at Law. March 21st and 22nd at the Stadium Sports Bar at Alenay. Do the tournament with 1080 The Fan. Today's worst day on the web. With Danny and Dusty on Odyssey and 1080 The Fan.
Man, that sucks.
And it very much, you hate to see it. But do you? Have you seen the photos that have circulated of the Kobe Bryant statue?
Yeah, this is brutal.
So, in
You
general...
had one job.
Well, I mean, in general, look, I don't want to crap on people's work, but when you put it out front for everybody else to see, it gets judged, and it's not good. The statue itself is, like, his right arm looks like it's like 9 feet long.
It wasn't?
No, it's not.
It's not?
The scaling looks weird.
I thought the statue itself, of statuing, it's not bad. I think...
It's not Ronaldo bust bad, where it looked like
No.
not the person.
Dude, that looked like a melted face.
It was so bad.
That looked like a melted face.
How anybody saw that was like, yeah, no, it's fine. And like, we're going to unveil this? Like, wait, what?
Look, not a lot of Michelangelos running around this world, okay?
No, it turns out bronze statues difficult to do but the problem is, like, you want to just be able to, like, make a mold of their face, but you can't just, pour bronze on somebody's face anymore.
I think that the statue looks good-ish.
Ish.
I think his face looks fine.
Well, the problem...
Outside of that arm does look very long.
Yeah, it's...
The right arm does look very long, but the statue itself I don't have a problem with. The rest of the statue...
You run into a lot of problems because...
This was the easy part.
You had marble around the statue solidifying Kobe's 81-point night. And as you go along, it looks just like a box score, which means this is very much done by a machine. This wasn't, hand carved.
It's laser etched. Yeah.
And so you would think that all of this would be like, okay, yeah, no, this makes sense. But then you start going and you're like, okay, Chris Bosh, Morris Peterson, Matt Bonner. Hey, there's Jalen Rose. Remember, he got 81 dropped on him. Charlie Villanueva, Jose Calderson.
What? That's not a player.
Wait, Calderson? Oh, Calderon.
Yeah, they misspelled Jose Calderon, which after the pest that he was, I'm okay with that one. The other misspelling is unforgivable because it's former Portland Trailblazer great.
It is a legend. Von Wafer himself, who is Vom.
Vom Wafer. Who Von Wafer in his time, Sprague came to his nephew played basketball against my son, and Sprague came to one of the games, and he's like, "What NBA players your kid's game styled after?" And I was like, "Von Wafer." He's like, "Whoa, that's a deep pull." I'm like,
very specific.
Yeah, because all he did was shoot. Like, all he was just like ball buckets, mostly miss. But that was Von Wafer was just, if the ball touched him, it stopped at Von Wafer, and the ball was going to be shot.
He had a directive.
So yeah, and he did. He filled it up. They misspelling Vom Wafer, inexcusable in my opinion.
Also, on a DNP coach's decision, you have decisión. They went Spanish with it, where decision is spelled DECICION.
See, now they have, and this is like part of the box score thing, but this is where you go, who was not paying attention and how drunk or stoned were they? Because decision is spelled correctly right above it. They spelled it correctly, and then they're like, yeah, no, we're just going to mail this one in. I love it because screw the Lakers. And two, how bad at your job do you have to be to find, like, it's like measure twice, cut once, right?
Well,
you're making a statue.
Yeah, I was going to, you would think that this would go before several sets of eyes before, going to print, press, whatever, what have you. How did nobody catch this?
At the same token, artists, not basketball guys, right? I mean, just think, who was the artist? We played a global hero, Jack Carlson, yesterday.
Guy to spell decision correctly.
But our global hero, Jack Carlson, yesterday, succulent Chinese meal. He's an artist. He's not a sports dude.
Yeah, but he
doesn't know
the
Jose Calderson
checking this
or Vom Wafer. No, I'm going to give him the pass on those two names. Decision.
I'm not going to give him the pass.
And they're Lakers, so makes it even better. What if it was a Blazer fan? Maybe he's a Blazer fan.
But also, it makes so much sense that
Then where I'm in.
the Lakers were not letting anybody like take preemptive pictures of this. It was going to be closed to the public for a little bit, and it was like, what the hell is going on?
And that one may be the bigger one, is that the Lakers didn't even look it over.
Well, they did the day before and then went, what the hell is this?
But did they? Because they still unveiled it.
Yeah.
They could have given like the, wait a minute, no, this isn't right.
I mean, they probably did. I remember Vanessa Bryant tried to like say, well, hey, Kobe's the one who picked this.
Yeah, the image of him, with the finger up in the air, yeah.
So there was already some collective stuff going on.
Dude.
So, hate to see it.
Wait a minute. What if just Kobe's behind all of it? He designed his own statue. What if Kobe just sent the box score and it's all Kobe's fault?
Just handwritten. Couldn't read his handwriting.
What? Because we know Kobe was petty, even with his own teammates. What if this is like his final parting shot to Von Wafer and Jose Calderon?
It would have been Smush Parker. Smush Parker's the name he would have screwed up. Like that's an ongoing beef.
That would have been great.
So,
Well, what name did they put for? Did they put Smush Parker on there?
Parker's on there.
Oh, they put Smush. They didn't put his real name.
No, Smush is his name.
Dang.
So.
See.
All right, when we come back, we'll put a nice little bow on today's show before we hand you off to some sweet, sweet Duck basketball. Danny Nussey, 1080 The Fan. Portland Trailblazers on a back-to-back taking on the Knicks of New York. They're getting healthy. Well, the Blazers, while getting mostly healthy, they're a little dinged up. I talked to Jeremy Grant post-game last night, and it sounded like he wasn't going to go today. He is, in fact, not going to go today. He is out for tonight's game. He's banged up. My man has hit the floor a lot over the last couple of weeks, and he's just beat to hell.
Well, him being out, this is that time of the year. You're playing against a good team, going to be very physical. Though that's not surprising. The surprising was Ant popping up on the injury report.
Ant has been dealing with the knee for a couple of nights now. I honestly was surprised he went as crazy as he did last night because the knee has been bothering him. And I think after last night, it was like, we
finally went to the trainer.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a game time decision.
All right. Well, plan accordingly.
Which is why they probably were watching Scoot's minutes last night so that he could maybe play a little bit more tonight on a back-to-back.
Plan accordingly, but responsibly.
For everybody wondering, last night, Ryan Rupert is listed on the injury report. Because why isn't Rupert playing? I talked to Rupert before the game last night.
Dude wasn't even in a uniform.
His ankle was bothering him. Like, it happens.
All right. Well, Blazers-Knicks. Going to be a messy one before the Blazers head on the road again.
Quick little roadie. This one's the quick one.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
but it's to New Orleans.
Yeah,
and they are red hot.
The good news is they will be back in town while we're up at A-L-N-A next week, Thursday and Friday. So if you want to do a little
how was Blazers Edge night last night?
Packed. 1,700 kids there last night.
There we go. That is awesome.
1,700.
And they got everybody that wanted a ticket got in the building.
Yep.
Dude. That's awesome. It's a cool thing every night. It's really cool that Blazers Edge is able to do it, but the Blazers
are very supportive.
They support it. They play ball, whether the team is good or bad. That's a really cool night every year.
Yes.
So I'm glad that 1,700 kids got
and
to
they
go
got to see
game.
a great game last night.
That's really cool. That is awesome.
Very, very cool.
We have conference tournament action going on too. And, dude, we got a Big East semifinal that this is going to be great. Dude, this is going to be...
The Fighting Rick Pitino's?
Yeah. St. John's, they just knocked off Seton Hall 91-72. Remember, it was just a couple weeks ago. Rick Pitino gave us this.
I think they're unathletic. I don't think they move well laterally. I don't think they're going to pick it up in the next week. I think they're slow laterally. I mean, Sean Conway gives you everything he can. He's slow laterally. About 5 guys are slow laterally. Even the Celtics, when we lost, I've enjoyed every minute being a Boston Celtic coach. Didn't like the fact that we lost in that following year, but this has been the most unenjoyable experience I've had since I've been coaching.
You have any second thoughts of taking this job?
No, not at all. It's not St. John's. It's my team. I think they're very respectful. They hear, but they don't listen. It's taken me a month to get them to throw actually 2 months to throw bounce passes. Just thinking of getting ready for Georgetown because Georgetown could definitely beat us. I'm not even thinking of the future at all. I'm just thinking of the next game and the next game and the next game, and that's it. Just try to get as many wins as you possibly